range of ideas, didn't they?
It really did. Quite diverse.
Yeah, everything from like the power of a good laugh to practical tips on natural remedies, diet, exercise, and even some more grounded approaches, quite literally.
That's right. And what really stood out was just the sheer breadth of perspectives in your materials. It's clear that navigating life with arthritis, it involves more than just, medical treatment.
Right, it's about mindset, lifestyle.
Finding what works for you. So we're here to kind of connect those dots and hopefully spark some aha moments without leaving you feeling totally overwhelmed.
Okay, so let's get into it then. One of the first things I noticed across the podcast script excerpts especially was this really refreshing, kind of lighthearted tone when they talked about arthritis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't all serious and, somber, which I found really encouraging, actually.
That's a smart approach, isn't it? The sources really highlighted how injecting humor can be, a really powerful tool, especially it seems for women over 40.
Makes sense.
It can make a challenging topic feel less intimidating and sort of build a sense of strength and resilience. Takes the edge off, maybe?
Yeah, it takes the edge off something that can be really tough to deal with daily.
Yeah.
And they use personal stories and these funny little quotes all through it.
Right.
Which seem designed to sort of boost spirits and remind you that even with arthritis, you can still find joy and, have a positive outlook.
Almost like saying, yeah, this might be tough, but let's not lose our sense of humor about it.
Exactly. Okay, so shifting gears a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Natural remedies. Your sources put a huge emphasis on plant-based options.
Mm-hmm. Significant focus there. And what's interesting is how they kind of weave together the traditional uses with maybe a nod to potential scientific backing.
Oh, I found this part fascinating. They talked about nettles as anti-inflammatory ninjas.
Aha! Yeah, I saw that.
And the script even had a funny line about them, like stinging joints into submission. Have you come across much about nettles and inflammation?
Well, traditionally, nettles have definitely been used for various things, and some initial research does suggest they have compounds that might have anti-inflammatory effects. But what the script did so well was make it memorable, And then you had Zumbani, or wild basil.
Oh yeah, Zimbabwe's answer to green tea.
Exactly. With that lovely image of boiling the leaves, sipping, pretending you're on safari, it really sticks with you.
It does, and apparently it's packed with antioxidants, which, help protect yourselves from damage.
Right, important stuff.
Plus, Zumbani is even an ingredient in that anti-arthritis lemon brew recipe they mentioned.
Yes, we'll get to that.
Then there was baobab powder. They playfully called it a mimosa for your immune system.
Because it's so high in vitamin C, right?
Yeah.
Those kinds of comparisons, they really help make these less familiar remedies feel a bit more accessible, don't they?
Totally.
And the inclusion of Mutufa or Zanthoxylum chalybeum,
Right, and mufandichimuka.
as traditional heroes for pain, that shines a light on the rich history of traditional medicine. And it was helpful your background info clarified Mutufa is also known as knobwood or toothache tree, used for pain relief traditionally.
Absolutely. Good context. And the anti-arthritis lemon brew itself, Zumbani, ginger, turmeric, lemon, sounds like a really interesting mix of potentially beneficial things.
It does, and the script had that great line, didn't it? Science says maybe, but tradition says heck yes.
Yes. Loved that.
That perfectly captures the feeling, I think. While the hard scientific evidence for some of these might still be developing, their long history of use certainly suggests there might be something there worth exploring.
Worth exploring, but always,
Always in consultation with a healthcare professional, of course. That's key.
Definitely. Okay, let's move on to diet, because this was another huge focus in your sources. A clear message about the impact of food on arthritis symptoms.
Yeah, a really significant impact. And what's compelling here is that the sources didn't just push one specific, really restrictive diet.
Yeah.
Instead, they explored different dietary patterns and their potential effects on inflammation, which, for anyone who doesn't know, is the body's response to irritation and a key factor in arthritis pain.
Right, so a plant-based diet got a lot of positive mentions.
Yeah.
Great for reducing inflammation. Kale, yeah, as one source put it.
Yeah, catchy.
They highlighted leafy greens, berries, and turmeric. Calling turmeric the golden child for anti-inflammatory foods.
That kind of enthusiastic language, it just makes it more engaging, doesn't it?
It really does.
And the pescatarian diet was recommended, too, for its omega-3 fatty acids, those joint lube, that WD-40 for your knees, you get in fatty fish.
Like salmon, sardines, mackerel.
Exactly. And omega-3s are pretty well known for playing a role in reducing inflammatory markers in the body.
Okay. But on the flip side, meat-heavy diets were cautioned against.
Likened to throwing gasoline on the inflammation bonfire. That was quite the image.
It was, and I have to admit, I chuckled that bacon is not a food group.
Well, that directness can be really effective, right?
Yeah.
Cuts through some of the noise around diet advice. The sources clearly aim to address some common dietary myths. Seems like it. And they even had that joint juice recipe. Coconut water, blueberries, aloe vera, another sort of tangible example.
Right, practical ideas. And the mention of beneficial complex carbohydrates was important too. Reminds us that the type of carb matters.
Good point. And it wasn't just about what you eat. Your sources also made it really clear that regular and appropriate exercise is crucial.
Absolutely crucial for relief. The core message was simple. Just move.
Yeah.
And the suggestions were wonderfully diverse. You had yoga, swimming, which are often recommended anyway, low impact.
Right, gentle on the joints.
All the way to the more playful idea of interpretive dance to 80s hits.
Which sounds fun, actually.
The key is finding activities you enjoy and can stick with consistently. That's what matters.
Exactly. No need to suddenly become like a marathon runner. Just find something that gets you moving in a way that feels good.
Spot on. Hydration was another fundamental point they highlighted. Vital for joint health. It's such a basic thing, but so important. And the quote really drives it home. Your joints crave water like I crave Netflix after 9 p.m.
Yeah, it's a simple reminder, but it has a big impact on how your body functions overall.
Okay, now this next part was particularly interesting to me. The exploration of self-care practices that went, beyond the usual diet and exercise stuff.
Yeah, this reflects a really comprehensive approach, doesn't it? Acknowledging that strong link between our mental and physical well-being.
Definitely.
And the inclusion of grounding or walking barefoot on the earth. That was a perfect example.
Yes. The host's take on the science was hilarious. Science isn't sure, but my toes swear by it.
Right.
And they specifically mentioned walking on natural surfaces like grass, sand, or soil. Apparently, concrete doesn't quite cut it.
Unless you're going for that Home Alone vibe, as they said.
Yeah, exactly.
But that humor makes the concept more approachable. And some people really do report feeling benefits, like reduced inflammation and stress from grounding. It's interesting.
It is interesting. Epsom salt baths were another suggestion, highlighting the potential for absorbing magnesium, maybe.
Through the skin. And I love the comparison to a Beyonce video.
Oh, that was a great visual. And meditation for stress reduction got a namaste in bed quip.
Nice.
Even the idea of screaming into a pillow was presented humorously as a way to just release pain cathartically.
It's a good reminder, isn't it, that self-care can look really different for everyone. It's about finding what brings you some relief, whatever that is.
It's true.
And the mention of other things like enjoying the sunrise or reciting a mantra alongside grounding, it just underscores the many different facets of self-care.
Yeah, lots of options. The sources also pointed out specific arthritis trouble zones, particularly common for women over 40. I thought that was really insightful.
Oh yeah, focusing on those common areas can really help people feel seen and understood, I think.
Totally.
And the descriptions were so relatable, knees being the original drama queens.
Fun. Yes.
Hands and fingers making opening jars feel like diffusing a bomb. Oh, I feel that one.
Hips leading to a walk like a Western duel at high noon. And the lower back being proof that sitting is the new smoking.
They really do paint a vivid picture. It's quite spot on for many, I imagine. And then, of course, there's the age-old question. Does the weather actually impact arthritis pain?
Ah, yes, the weather effect. This is a topic with so much anecdotal evidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the classic image of someone's granny predicting rain based on her joints.
Exactly. Everyone knows someone who says that.
The sources touched on humidity, calling it joint soup, and changes in barometric pressure as potential factors some people really feel affect their symptoms.
But it was good that the script also pointed out that the scientific evidence for a definite link is still kind of inconclusive.
Yeah, it acknowledged the personal experiences while also respecting where the current research stands, which is important.
Very important.
And finally, woven throughout all of this advice, all these different ideas, was a really crucial and consistent reminder.
Always consult with healthcare professionals before trying new remedies, before making big changes to diet or exercise.
Always check first.
That responsible approach is absolutely key. Can't stress that enough.
Absolutely. Okay, so as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, what would you say are the main takeaways from all these arthritis management sources you looked at?
Well, I think the overarching message is that managing arthritis effectively, it really involves a truly holistic approach. It's not just about the medication, though that's important for many. It really encompasses your lifestyle, exploring natural options, and even nurturing a positive mindset. Your sources did a great job highlighting this multifaceted perspective.
And it's really empowering, isn't it, to see that arthritis doesn't have to totally define your life. There are just so many different avenues to explore.
So many options.
From incorporating more plant-based foods, finding enjoyable ways to move your body, to prioritizing those self-care practices that support both, your physical and mental well-being.
Exactly. So I'd encourage you, the listener, to think about which of these insights really resonated most with you today. Did any of these ideas spark an aha moment?
Yeah.
Consider which strategies you might want to explore further as you navigate your own journey.
That's such a valuable point, and it makes you wonder, maybe the most powerful approach, perhaps, is really about combining that deep understanding of your own body.
Right. Self-awareness.
With a proactive attitude towards your well-being, and maybe even finding those moments of humor along the way, like the sources suggested.
Absolutely.
It might be worth continuing to explore what works best for you, and perhaps even sharing your own experiences or questions as you go.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for sharing these insightful resources with us. It's really been a privilege to delve into this topic with you and explore all these different facets of living well with arthritis.
Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive, everyone, and we look forward to our next exploration together.